Guys, let him answer the question. Guys,
Hi.
relax.
No, no,
Do you believe you would have gotten that access had you been critical of the club?
Sorry, I can answer
don't
that
know.
one.
To
I
be
can
honest,
answer that one.
Yeah, go for it, Paul. Answer the question.
Yeah, a couple of things. Just first and foremost, I just want to clarify that thing because obviously referring to the overlap that we did with Gary Neville when he's talking about my comments on there. Two things on that. That was the deal, the announcement that it was that Liverpool were up for sale happened like an hour before that show went on, and Gary threw that question on my toes. And I think, and look, my attempt very much was to be clear on it. Is that I kind of, I don't. I have a set of models when it comes to like women's rights and it comes to gay and it comes to trans rights, right? And I think individuals can have their strong opinions and whatever, and you can be from anywhere in the world in a Liverpool Football Club. I'm uncomfortable when people who are in charge of regimes who don't have those things in their countries, they're my slight issues with that. So when people mentioned America before, you know, individual wealthy people from all over the world could happily be Liverpool owners. I don't really care too much about that, but you know, again, it sits uncomfortably with me. And again, people thought when nations own a football club, that's what sits uncomfortably. It's honestly got nothing to do with where people are from in the world. And I think I actually said that at the time. I said I don't know. I'm not a geopolitical expert.
Paul, it's not
I don't know
be.
what people. Sorry, can I finish speaking? Thanks. I don't know the ins and outs of what every country wants. I just said that's where I sit, and I would suggest that most Liverpool fans probably feel that way because obviously you've got the cop outs, for example, obviously really big LGBTQ plus community around Liverpool Football Club, and we've had a lot of interaction with them. We've done a lot of work with them to try and spread positive messages. You know, we got drawn into the stuff with the Chelsea Rent Boy stuff years ago. We had to educate ourselves. We had to get better, and we've had to be trying to spread that message.
But Paul, that's not the message that you made on Sky. That's the problem. That's not the message that you made on Sky. You referred to the sports washing element of it, which is why we have an issue with that. If you mention
Sorry, what did I refer?
No problem with that. The problem is we're affiliated with AXA, Paul. And
Look, and you're dead right. You're dead right, and I've said exactly the same thing myself. Sorry, I've said exactly the same thing myself. Is that there's no? In fact, the exact line I said immediately after I was asked about it was, "There's no such thing as a good billionaire. There's no such thing as innocent billionaires." That's the exact same sentence that followed on from that.
Yeah, but Paul, listen.
Okay, Paul. So that's the point,
guys. Can we
there
let
is
him
no
speak?
good
Can we
billionaire.
let him speak? Come on.
Guys, just one sec. Paul, I'm being genuine here. Just hear me out. My thing is, I have no problem if you have like you're against the things that about gay people and trans people and everything to do with that. I have no problem with that. My thing is,
are you against them? Sorry, by the way, Hussam, can I just ask?
Am I against what?
Women's gay and trans rights.
First of all, don't ask me political questions. Second of all,
when it comes to political question, that's
when it comes, Paul, when it comes to morality, there is nothing on earth. There is nothing, Habib Thawani, bas. There is nothing on earth worse than murder. Your owners are involved in the murder of innocent children. So let's not do selective morality here.
Sorry, whose owners?
Guys, just because this is very important. I want to just get this off my chest. I'm gonna go on mute for the whole time. My thing, Paul, is we can. I don't disagree with that. Like you could be all for the trans rights, gay rights. I don't mind that. I can agree with you with a certain extent. You can have your own idea about everything. My thing is we are doing selective morality, Paul. If you wanna back that, I don't wanna back the thing that we're affiliated with AXA, Paul. AXA, they fund the conflict that is in Israel and Palestine that kills innocent people. So if we're not gonna criticize that, how are we morally well enough and good enough to criticize other people? That there is nothing worse than murder and murder of children as well. And that's
I know. Look, ultimately, right. But the point I'm trying to make is that look, there's been a lot of slander thrown directly at us, which I think is wholly unfair. And what it always seems to come back to is people don't agree with our takes and our opinions, and that's fine. But people then try to take it down this route of like, again, Chris mentioned before, you can disagree, but then to start throwing like racist around, I think people need to underestimate how horrendously offensive that is, how horrendously, disgustingly offensive it is to call someone a racist because you have either misunderstood, misrepresented, or disagreed with the point that someone has made. Chris and I'm sorry, we've been doing this for 13 years on YouTube now, and he mentioned this. All we are is hard-working fellas who just do something because we're passionate about it. And again, it comes back to, and what we've done is we've worked hard, we've built up our reputation. People seem to have liked what we've done along the years. I can't control that. but it has. And ultimately, sorry, when it comes to things like Jurgen Klopp, Jurgen Klopp, for some reason, likes us. I don't know why. We're bellends.
Oh, come on, Paul.
Hold on, Hussam. Just
Let's not be disingenuous here, Paul.
guys. We had an order, but we need to.
Paul, can I just ask you one question? Let me just ask you one question. You said that there is no good billionaire. Okay, I agree with you. There is no good billionaire. Now, with that pre-statement that there is no good billionaire, would you not rather have a billionaire that spends and that cares and that has ambition?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then here's the thing. Middle Eastern owners have shown a track record of giving a fuck. Meaning, if we do get owned by the Middle East at some point in time, or if it does happen, then you'll see the owners at the games. You'll see them hands-on making footballing decisions, because me and you both know, and anyone who knows anything about Liverpool knows, that FSG don't get involved in football decisions. 10 years
they shouldn't do. Your owners should have nothing to do with footballing decisions.
Paul, let me just give you a quick example. If you owned a restaurant tomorrow and 10 years later you don't know the difference between a T-bone and a ribeye, there's a problem there, because you used to have a basic understanding of food. With FSG, they're not getting involved in football decisions. We barely see them at Anfield. And there's another thing as well with, for example, the stuff that they've done over the years. Like my problem is we are not critical of them enough. And when I say we, me personally, I am critical, but my voice can only reach so far. When it comes to FSG, for example, you as a Scouser and Chris as a Scouser, them trademarking Liverpool, how badly would that have affected local businesses? How badly would that have affected all the people around the city?
Please, can I have a little, just a quick word on the restaurant thing as someone who actually managed the restaurants? Everyone, Hussam, I think you'll agree, in the world probably uses an accountant to manage the finances of their business. An accountant can absolutely do that because they're specialists in the numbers side of things. It doesn't mean they need to know about a restaurant. It doesn't mean they need to know about a bin delivery service. It doesn't mean they need to know about how to sell fucking cars. FSG, in terms of Liverpool, just need to know how to manage the money side of things. And if FSG are managing the money side of things right and employing the right people, the football people in the club, then they can absolutely run the club right. I don't think they are running the club right. I do think that FSG have taken Liverpool probably as far as they can with the sell to buy thing that they seem to wanted to implement when they came into the football club. On that, I think everybody agrees that FSG could have done more for Liverpool Football Club, could have done more for investing into the football club. But your point about the restaurants, absolute bullshit.
So just
but how is it so when I'm saying they should have a basic understanding of football?
Sorry, Hussam, you're chatting bollocks, mate, because ultimately
they don't have an understanding of football.
You put football people in at a football club to manage the football, and they've done that. Every one of us wanted to make a statue of Michael Edwards. You know what I mean? We've been saying this for years because they put good people, you put football people in charge and let them do it. Nobody wants owners at the football. Who gives a shit where the owners turn?
But they're not hands-on owners.
I think Paul,
they are hands-on. Mike Gordon has been hands-on the wheel the whole time.
Let me just interject.
Do they even know that we're ninth right now?
It doesn't matter. You're making big things out of little things.
I really am not. I'm just giving you the facts.
Sorry, Hussam. You've decided
we have a set of people. We have a set of people.
Your opinions are facts.
Guys, there's 100 people speaking at once. Just 1 second. We have a set of guys.
Hi guys, let's get some order and let's just keep it respectful as well, man. We all got one thing in common. We love the club, innit? So let's keep it respectful, innit?
Guys, let me just say one quick thing. Can I just say one last thing to Paul? One last thing, please. Just one last thing. Look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, FSG themselves, by putting the club up for sale, have told you we've taken this club as far as we can go. Now, after that, you've already prefaced your statement with there is no good billionaire. So now, given that preface that there is no good billionaire, just based on that exact statement, I would rather have a billionaire that spends, that gives a fuck, that shows ambition, that gets involved than an owner that doesn't, because we've went down that route already. Now, the example with the restaurant was, I'm not saying they have to know everything about football. I'm saying they need to have a basic understanding of football or show that they give a fuck. I'm saying, do they even know that we're ninth? And you're saying it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Because an owner that gives a fuck would know that we're ninth. Paul, just 1 second. Paul, hear me out. Paul, hear me out.
Everyone's heard you out for about half an hour, mate. Honestly.
Paul, just let me finish. Just let me finish.
Guys, please let's finish. Let Hussam finish. We'll go Hussam, then we'll go to the hands Thiago, Az, and Bilal. Let's hear ourselves.
Paul, hear me out. I just listen to understand what I'm saying. Don't listen to just respond. I'm saying right now, all of that we agree on so far. So now I would rather an owner that gives a fuck. My point is as follows. They don't even know that we're ninth. They're not involved in the decisions. And furthermore, when they hired Jurgen Klopp, how much was the club worth? And now how much the club's worth. So they've done it. They hired Jurgen Klopp. Okay, we give them credit. Now here's my thing. We're in a January transfer window. Every man and his dog knows that we need a midfielder. There's been links with Caicedo. There's been links with 100 different people. When it comes to Jurgen Klopp, has he not made them enough money in order for them to go to the bank and get some money and help this man out that we're all struggling in ninth right now? This is the thing now. He has earned them. Forget the emotional side of things. Jurgen Klopp has earned them enough money financially in order for them to go like, okay, Jurgen, I know you fucked up in the summer. You said you didn't need a midfielder. Now here's 100 million because you made me 4 billion more worth than I was when I first hired you. So here's 100 million. Go buy whoever the fuck you want and let's fix up this season. These are the things that no one can answer.
100%. Yeah, again, look, everyone agrees. That's everyone wants Liverpool to spend and have the best players and do all this and that. I just want to say, look, because we've all got lives to get on with, and it doesn't feel like no one's going to fundamentally change anyone's opinions on this. What I'd like is the people to stop being twats to us when they don't know us. Would be nice. But my reason, and ultimately what I say on my opinion on Liverpool's current owners is that having started RedmenTV in the midst of the protests against Hicks and Gillette, and I've watched the rise of the football club, and I've seen countless different managers and countless different approaches try and get Liverpool to win a title, and they never could. And we lived in the shadow of Manchester United, and having to live in that it was the hardest time to be a Liverpool fan in the history of being a Liverpool fan on the pitch. Not including the off-the-pitch stuff, because everything of the shadow of Hillsborough is obviously the biggest thing that we've ever had to go through. But in terms of on the pitch, living through the Manchester United era has been absolutely horrendous. And what happened was, owners came in. This is not about thanking them. This is not about making them heroes or whatever. It's not. They were just a set of owners who came in and they managed to turn the ship around and actually get it floating again, and then get it to a point where we could be competitive. And as fans, all any of us wants is Liverpool to be competitive. And Liverpool have been competitive over the last 7 years, which is something they hadn't been in the 23 before that. So I'm not going to sit here and say FSG are the best owners ever. I really don't care for them. I don't care one way or the other. The point is that where I'm not like man in the barricades and where I'm not desperate to set fire to it all is because I've seen what genuinely horrendous owners look like, and these are not in the same bracket as Hicks and Gillette. Liverpool were a shit show and very nearly went relegated, and at a point deduction and could have gone bankrupt. And at the point now we're complaining that we really need to spend a couple 50, 60, 100 million more on transfers. That's still a good position to be in. It's a position that can be improved on, and we all want it to be improved. And we all, sorry, let me finish. We all want it to be improved on. We're all Liverpool fans. We want Liverpool to be the best team, continue to be the best team on the planet. So let's all get together and do that. But I don't see that it needs to be set fire to, and we don't need to protest and we don't need to march. Is because A, the club's for sale, so it's recognised, and also we've had Liverpool win every major trophy in that they can possibly win in the last 4 seasons. We want to make sure we can maintain that, and that'll be the next step. But also, let's just be appreciative of the fact that we have had a boss ride, and it's not to do with let's thank FSG, let's make great FSG out in banners, let's still pray for them. It's not. But ultimately, let's admit that we've had a good time and we've had the best time. This has been the best Liverpool I've ever experienced in my 40 years of life. So yeah, I think it's been a great time to be a Red. Hopefully more times come in the future. Can we all agree with that? Can we all agree with that?
You know what it is, Paul? There was one question.
I can agree with Ellen. Give me 1 sec. Now, give me 1 sec, guys. I've been listening. I don't mean to use this spam. Paul, you made a lot of good points there. The problem is here, Paul. Some of the statements, for example, you said you want us to unite. I agree. We should be a united fan base where all of us want us to win. However, when I hear stuff like there's match-going fans or not FSG out, when that, for me, in my opinion, that couldn't be further from the truth. For example, on Saturday, I sat in the Cop. There were several Liverpool fans, Scousers from all over the world, people from all over the world that shared this view. The problem is they won't be vocal. Even one of our most famous chants can be seen as FSG out when we say the Reds have got no money, but we'll still win the league. When we sing that song, even that is a jest, is a bit of a joke. criticizing the owners. So to say that match-going fans don't have the views that, for example, Twitter fans might have or other fans might have, I think is disingenuous. I think that is creating separation within the fan base when that's not true. People could be match-going fans. They could be seeing from home. They could be seeing all over the world. Liverpool's a global fan base, and there's quite a lot of us. I even know quite a few Scousers who are openly FSG out, but they don't want to protest all of that stuff because they know, like you said, Paul, because of some of the stuff that you mentioned, because quote unquote we've had it good, we've won the league, won the Champions League, that they don't see the reason to, but they are still FSG out. So that creates division in the wall between us, and we can't unite if something like that is happening.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah, I think you misunderstood the point. Is that it wasn't as broad a statement as it was made out as that. What we were saying on the podcast was we've been there. You see it when there's a protest, it's unignorable. We saw it when the Super League stuff happened. That the example we were pointing to. People rallied. You know, we jump to the barricades when things like that happen. What I would say is that if you're not seeing it, if you're not feeling it, there's not that groundswell it happening in the real world. Then it's probably not quite as big as it feels, is what I was saying. Because when it is big and when there are huge movements that happen and things need to happen at Liverpool, you know, all of us Scousers at the heart of it, absolutely. But obviously the wider Liverpool fan base, we get on board. We do. We can move 1 million people into the city just to watch a bus drive by with some players on. We can get tens of thousands down for protests when big things are happening and our voice needs to be heard. What I was suggesting was a note of caution that when the time to protest is there, it'll just happen. Honestly, you know, and I said I don't think it feels a lot. That's why it feels a lot bigger on social media, and that's not to do with fans away from. That's not to do with fans away from the ground.
Guys, Ahmed, just one second. As
let's go after.
Yeah, I just want to go real quick, then Tia go after. Let that go.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, guys, man. Listen, by the way, this is just meant to be an open conversation. There's no abuse going any way, either side. I think people need to be more respectful of each other, bro. But at the same time, there's conversations that we can have. We're all grown people here. I've actually spoken a few times to Solitaire, and big up Solitaire. He's giving me a bit of a hindsight of what happens on you lot's end. But the question I wanted to ask you guys, because for me, I am very curious. Do you guys still consider yourself a fan channel? Because, and Paul, I understand what you were saying about, obviously, you built up RedmenTV to where it is at the moment. And by the way, well done for that. You guys deserve that. But when you get to a stage where you're on the overlap and they ask you a question like that, you must understand when you respond with a question like that, you're representing fans, not just in Liverpool, but across the world as well. So I just want to know if you're taking accountability for what you did that day.
Sorry, Paul, just before you go, my question leads on to ads as well. You mentioned when you went, sorry, Tiago, it's just on that question. You mentioned when you went on the overlap, you spoke from personal experiences where you don't agree with what Middle East represents, the owners, or so on, women's rights, gay rights. I ask you the question, just to follow up on ads, is you represent Liverpool when you go on this channel, whether you like it or not, that's where you are. What makes your views more entitled than the Middle East fans? Because there's more Middle East fans that support Liverpool than Liverpool as a city. Why were your views entitled, and why did you have to express them? Why could you just say, look, this is something I don't want to address right now, and come back? Why were your views more entitled than the other fans in the fan base?
I think you're probably attributing far too much intelligence to me, which I'm grateful for. But ultimately, again, whether people feel I represent all of Liverpool or whatever, what I also really just do is give my opinion and represent my opinion on it. And I think ultimately my general tone on life is that everyone's born equal. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your race, colour, creed, religion, sexuality, anything is. Everyone was born equal. Nobody chose to be born in a certain way. There's no bad way to be born. And that's a wider point, and that's where we're getting into how far away from football. That's the thing I want to make clear, and that's the thing that I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned about. I don't think I'm wrong to be concerned about. I don't think anyone could say that that's not something to be a little worried about. Because I'm not just talking about that. Again, I'm seeing this coming from LGBTQ groups who are showing concerns. So in some regards, I don't speak for those, but again, am I allowed to represent their concerns on things? Because I think we're saying that I can, but I don't know. Ultimately, I speak for me, and I don't mean offence. And I'm not trying to tar an entire people. I'm definitely not. I'm just not. But I think everyone's got concerns. You guys have clearly got major concerns with FSG. You know, we can have concerns over a variety of things. I just want a world and this is not to do with Liverpool, where everyone is treated equally, where everyone gets to live free and be happy. And, you know, football's a part of that. And I wouldn't want a world where Liverpool fans are made to feel less comfortable. I love how inclusive Liverpool is as a football club. I love how inclusive Liverpool is as a city. I want that to continue, and that's all I want. And look, ultimately, guys, I think we can go back and forth on this all day long. I just wanted to clear up where my stance is on stuff, because clearly it has been a little bit, maybe people have taken something the wrong way or blown it up, or maybe I misspoke. And I can certainly understand how I might have misspoken. That's what I wanted to explain. It wasn't a pre-prepared question. No one said to me, Paul, we're going to ask you about this.
I think that's
so if I've misspoke, you know.
People just want accountability. If you made a mistake, that's fair enough. Like,
No,
if
but
you come out and say, listen, I misspoke. Listen, no, sorry, DW.
DW, there's an order.
I know, just before you go, I want to answer his concerns, because he's talking about, obviously, Qataris, the whole LGBT thing. So it's good for it to come from someone from that region, from that religion. Now, Paul, I want you to understand, that in their countries, in their traditions, in their religion, all these sort of things, they don't kill people for it. But the whole viewpoint from our side is, if you are gay, if you are whatever you are, you keep it to yourself in your own privacy. You can do whatever you want inside your home. They just don't like it outside in the public. They don't even like a woman and a man doing anything outside in the public. It's all about privacy, about keeping morality, about keeping humility in front of children, in front of elderly. That's what it's about. Now,
God, let's hope they don't go to Concert Square in Liverpool on a Saturday night.
Listen, you in your
Paul,
country,
we've seen Arab owners with Man City. It's not like they ban gay people from the stadium.
Hassan, please, 1 sec, bro. Now, Paul, you can, in your country, do whatever you like, because it's your country. Now, they will not come to Liverpool and try impose what they believe. They are coming to own an asset. Their whole point is, we're a wealth fund. We want to grow our wealth fund. This club can grow in wealth, and we can make even either a profit on it in the future, or we can keep it as an asset for however long it is. They won't come and be like, this club is now against LGBT.
They won't change the rules of the country,
nothing, bro.
man.
Look at the Man City owners, bro. They have nothing like that. They let their captains wear the armband. They let their whole LGBT campaign, whatever it is, they don't care, bro, because Man City is in England. It's under the rules of England, and that's how they believe their country is. If you're in my country, you abide my rules. If I'm in your country, you abide. If I'm in your country, I abide by your rules, and that's as simple as that.
DW, let me just add one statement.
Can I just jump in?
Let me just add one statement. Sorry, guys, just give me 1 second. Guys, we have a track.
Just jump in, mate, because I just want to.
Just give me one sentence. I just want to say one sentence. I just want to say one sentence. That's it.
Go on,
look, the Man City and the PSG owners, they've not banned gay people from the stadium. Why are we acting like they're going to impose rules on the people or something?
And that's brilliant, because I wouldn't want them to do that, and I would never expect an owner of a football club to do anything of it. DW, I thought you spoke really well there. I just wanted to say to anyone who listened to our podcast yesterday, I think I've got a lot of abuse online about, you know, potential views or perceived views on people from around the world. I love, like Paul said before, the fact that we've got a global audience. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it adds and enriches to the culture of Liverpool Football Club. What I was specifically talking about on the podcast yesterday was that if you want people to get involved in Liverpool, then, you know, don't call them things like top reds and make these abusive terms up. Certainly, like, you know, fair play to you, quid pro for changing the name of the space from something that was derogatory to my heritage. I appreciate that, you know, you can educate and people will change things like you have done, so appreciate that. I just wanted to say that, listen, we're all Liverpool fans. We all love Liverpool Football Club. We all probably want better owners than FSG. I'm just slightly wary that you could get worse owners, and that's not to say you could get worse American owners and you could get amazing Middle Eastern owners. It doesn't matter where they're from to me, but when there's a name that's being linked properly with Liverpool Football Club, that's when I'll make a decision on a new ownership group. Yeah. Until then, I can't just go around every single ownership group and think I'd like them, I wouldn't like them, they're bad, they're good. It doesn't work like that. So listen, thank you everybody for listening to me. I really appreciate your time. It was interesting hearing everybody's different opinions, but I'm out. So.
Yeah, same. Thanks so much, guys. Sorry, unfortunately we've got to make content that makes people really enraged on the internet for a few hours. But thanks thanks so much for letting us speak. Obviously, some really good opinions from people and stuff there. Of course, you guys are all.
Can I just ask you a quick question though before you go? It's a normal question because it's in relation to the match going fan stuff and the anger towards those people. So, I'm pretty sure you've been to Anfield this season. Has it been the same this season? Regardless of the fact that we're shit, it's a conversation you've had with the people, the fans in the stands. Has it been the same? Because I don't feel it's been the same. And I've been quite a few times this year.
Listen, I think this might be a whole other space, to be perfectly honest, mate. But yeah, no, I think we've seen. I think everyone's just a bit miserable and down in the dumps with stuff at the moment, aren't they? The atmosphere has definitely not been as good as it's been in recent years, and yeah, it goes hand in hand. I think people feel a bit broken. I think we've got a bit of a hangover from that COVID season again, and we can all see that kind of looming again. Where Liverpool don't get to scale the heights.
What I'm saying is partially is because we're shit. Let's be honest. But it's also,
I would say it's almost entirely because of that. To be perfectly honest,
because I've had conversations with people, and a lot of them are very, very angry with the ownership and lack of investment over a period of time. And I think it's bled over into this season, and a lot of fans are starting to.
It's the lack of proactiveness. That's what's concerning.
Yeah.
And it's almost.
You know how
Paul, get a few FSG out people on your stream and let them speak their mind.
Yeah, I mean,
just have a conversation.
Yeah, represents the full fan base, man.
Yeah, no,
a lot of people at this moment.
You man can't tell him what to do with his platform, boys. Like,
it's right. And if people call me, as Chris said, if people want to call us bellends online constantly, don't be surprised when we think you might be not very nice people and therefore wouldn't want to speak to you. You know, that's the kind of thing I would say in that regard. We just speak to our mates, to be perfectly honest, and people can become our mates. They don't have to share the same opinions with us. God knows there's loads of people who come on here who have completely different opinions on a whole host of Liverpool topics. But listen, guys, look, I really do have to dash.
That can have reasonable conversations that are FSG out.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there absolutely are. I'm not speaking about anyone individually on here, but I think there's a few people on here who probably do know. And I would be able to, in the cold light today, hold the hands up and say they've maybe been a bit nastier and a bit more personal with insults directed directly at us, which is, I think we all know, is a bit uncalled for. And we can get heated on stuff. We all can. We're all passionate about what we're passionate about. But yeah,
it's the key of how you frame it, isn't it? At the end of the day,
exactly. But look, I am really sorry. I know everyone's got a point, and they want to dive on with this. We've got. And thanks so much for letting me speak. It is really, really appreciated. I don't like to let negative stuff.
Make it a recurring thing. We'll talk on spaces. We'll
join on the spaces, man. The spaces are the streets.
I just hate it when my phone makes noise, to be honest. So I've never turned the space on before because I hate phones playing out loud. Guys, have a boss day, all right? And fingers crossed Liverpool can actually win some fucking football matches.
Yes,
did you see that? Did you man see that? That was.
You're all boss, guys. Have a great day.
I'm going to be honest with you, boys, and I'm going to be respectful here, Paul Stallone. But them answers were trained answers. They were somebody who's trained very well in the media. They were polished answers. There was no emotion. There was no person.
But they were fair as well, Kurdish. They were fair as well.
No, that's solitaire.
Why are you such a skeptic?
So hold on, just quickly,
That's what that was.
Kurdish,
That's what that was.
Hold on, just quick, yeah. Let's be clear.
It was a bit too hectic in here. That's the problem.
Right.
I think if it was like more organized than a conversation, then we'd get the real answers. Because we didn't get the answers that we wanted, basically.
Hold on. And this is what I said. This is what I said earlier on. Yeah, is that they don't.
Not ask questions though. That's the problem.
But the difficulty is right. The difficulty is two things. Yeah, they're not going to come into an arena where there's loads of
a preconceived agenda,
where there's loads of hyenas, number one, yeah? And guys, obviously, big up Ahmed for running the space, but bro, we had an order for a reason, yeah? You would have got more out of that, you would have got a lot more out of that, and you probably would have got a lot more of the answers that you would have wanted had the order been observed, yeah? We got man jumping off mute, you got man jumping off mute, cutting man up, this and that, etc. Guys waiting, so I feel like at that point, everyone had individual agendas at said point that they wanted to get off their chest. Yeah, I understand that because everyone's got their own particular things they want to discuss. But if you ever want to see those guys jump into this environment again, and Kurdish, you can put your thumb down as much as you like. We're speaking facts. If you want those guys to jump into that arena again, because they will do. They're going to jump into that environment and arena again because they've been in here. They've sampled it now. Don't be surprised if you don't see some Redmen spaces jumping up because they've seen the environment now. They've seen there's 700 people in here.
Bro, I still sit in here with boys, check it. I sit in here with you. Boys. Let me just finish this.
Just 1 second, bro. 1 second, bro. And that's the thing about order. If you think these guys just jumped on today, you might not get the chance the next time because it's gonna be in a very long time. Judging by how the order went today, Ads had a point, Thiago had a point, Kurdish had a point. Ahmed, you kept muting the mic to make your point go away so you can speak your point. We all needed to speak our point. The thing is, judging by how Kurdish said they're trained answers today, the next time they're gonna come on a space, they're probably gonna be hosting the space and they're only gonna let specific people come. And that's what we needed to let them know today. Now, Hisham made us.
I'm gonna just slow Bilal just real quick,
I'm not guaranteeing.
And I'll be very open with you.
Let me just say what I've got to say.
Just had a quick convo with one of them. The first thing they've said is loads of angry people in that space. To hell if you think they're ever going to jump in there again. Order is crucial. Yeah. If you
Thiago, no one gives a fuck if they're going to jump in again.
Bro, but Hussam, respectfully, yeah.
Why are we acting like they're celebrities? They're regular people, bro.
Hussam, no, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Here, Chris just followed me and I've spoken to him already in the DM.
Hussam, you've got a platform as well, yeah? As if they got a platform. And we were saying this before you jumped in the space. Unfortunately, when people perceive their platform is bigger or higher than your platform, yeah, they start to move in different ways, which means that they don't then start to associate with or connect with what reality is. Like you said, Hussam, in your closing statement, the spaces are the streets. These men don't walk around in the trenches or the streets because they perceive their platform is higher. So when they do enter in and they do come into these spaces, all I'm saying is that it could have been articulated a lot better. That's all I'm saying.
No, Thiago, listen. It could have been articulated. It could have been articulated better. I agree with you. Here's my thing now. We all ask them questions, and I'll happily say this to Chris or Paul if they come back. And here's the thing: we could get them back on a space, but it just needs to be a bit more organized. Not that deep. Here's the thing now. At the end of the day, the questions weren't answered. Let's cut the crap here. We asked 2-3 questions, and none of them were answered. It was just. Can I just finish? See, you're not improving the. Solitaire, can you relax, bro? Can I just make one statement?
I'm not letting
Solitaire, can I just say one? Can I just finish? And I'm going on mute and then I'm gonna let you speak.
You're making it disingenuous.
Solitaire, can I just speak, bro? You have to hear me out, bro. Hear me out till the end. Relax, calm down. Calm down. Oh my God, guys, everyone relax. Let me finish here, Kurdish. Here's the thing. When it comes to this conversation right here, with the conversation that we just had with them, when they were getting asked questions, people coming off mute to go like, oh, there's an order, there's my turn, my hands up, yahi. But let him answer the question, yahi. The thing is, the questions wasn't answered. The questions were all answered in like a media way. At the end of the day, when it comes to them, my opinion of them after this conversation hasn't changed because they really haven't addressed anything that we asked them to address. We spoke from the financial side, we spoke from the morality side, and once again, the hard-hitting question that was not answered that I asked is a very simple one. If your 1 second ads, if your preface is there is no good billionaire, by definition, get me the billionaire that gives a fuck. So don't go on a platform and say the majority fan base don't want this billionaire because that's cap. Because there's more Liverpool fans in the Middle East than there is in Liverpool to begin with. So you cannot speak to the majority of Liverpool fans and go and represent our opinion. I know right now how many people are in this space. Just use this space as a measuring stick. All of us want Middle Eastern owners. I don't know about Solitaire because I haven't spoken to him.